showing we don't need roads.
My friend Kevin, good to see you, buddy.
Excellent to see you, Jake. Every time I make a movie, I'm like, sooner or later we're gonna cross paths, and you're one of my favorite people to talk to all the time.
I appreciate it. Well, you're one of my
here's
favorite.
The thing, I was in the wild. Like generally, I see you when we do a thing, but I was in the wild in Chicago not too long ago, and I saw you doing a thing. I was like, I know that guy. Like, I felt like I'm like you when you see well, like whenever I see Affleck in a movie, I'm like, I know that guy. Same thing. I saw you in the wild on TV doing a thing. I was like, I know that guy. It's Jake.
Come through, man. I think hopefully we're having you in studio next week because you're going to be in our town not too long. Which let's connect because I want to connect while you're here. But I truly love this movie. I genuinely love this movie, and I've got 1,000 million questions for you. I'm going to start out talking about whenever I get to talk with the younger moviegoers, the next generation. I always discuss things about my movie going experience that they missed out on, and for me, it was the roaming of the aisles at a local video store on a Friday night. That was such a seminal experience for me as a young movie fan that honestly I attribute to me sitting right here, right now. What is for you that vivid memory, that important aspect of movie going that kids today are not experiencing, and you're a little upset that they're never truly going to understand it?
I'll never lose sleep over this, but we had a sense of community as film fans, as kids. Like it wasn't just movie theater wasn't just the place we went to go to the movies and ingest film. It was town square. It was our church, man. And our faith that we practiced was, cinema. But it wasn't just the movies. Like you went there and you hung out with your friends. And then since it was the 80s, like I had parents, like many parents, who would give me $2, drop me off at the matinee and be like, we'll see you at 11 o'clock tonight. And the understanding was, you paid for one movie and then you spent your time sneaking from one movie to the other throughout the whole day, hoping not to get caught and lose your.
What's your favorite movie you ever snuck into?
Raiders of the Lost Ark, 42 times, man.
No
movie I saw. I only paid to see it once. Well, I didn't even pay. My father paid. But every other time I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark in a movie theater, because it played for one full year in our town, it was always after I saw something else. So I'd leave that theater and go to see Raiders of the Lost
Spielberg's going to call you, man. Amblin's going to come at you doing that.
Steven Spielberg might have made some money in this business were it not for me. I feel bad for him.
But what are you going to do? You know what? He'll be all right. He'll be all right. I am putting together a special here in Chicago where I'm having my favorite actors, my favorite filmmakers take me back to the shooting of some of the most iconic movie scenes of all time. Do you remember on the set of Clerks, the first time you ever filmed the line, "I'm not supposed to be here today"?
Yeah, let me see. It was the hockey scene is probably the first time he says that, or when he's on the phone. And I know the phone conversation we did halfway through. So halfway through the movie is when we do the phone conversation where he's on the phone. He's like, I'm not even supposed to be here today. I remember, and I remember not thinking anything of it, even though he repeats the line a lot in the movie. At the time, I was not like, boy, people are going to remember that. Like, I didn't even know if anyone would see the movie and stuff. That's why, like, when we were making the 4:30 movie, the kids at one point, we were doing a driving scene. Like, so they're driving and we're playing the Chaka Khan song, I Feel For You. And the boys are just goofing off, switching places and having a good time. It's like nothing you've never seen in a zillion coming of age movies, not the least of which, of course, would be Wayne's World with Bohemian Rhapsody. So, Austin, Zager, Nick Cirillo, Reed Northrup, the three kids in the car. And they're like, what do you want us to do for this? I was like, well, we're going to shoot a few times. We'll switch you guys in positions and stuff. But, it's going to be pretty straightforward. And we'll be playing. You can listen whatever you want. I'm going to put in a different song later on. And they were like, that's it? That's your direction? And I was like, make it iconic. And I walked away. And we shot a take. And afterwards I came back and they were all like, fucked. They were all like, and I was like, what's the matter? They're like, this is the worst fucking direction you could give a human being. Make it iconic? What does that mean? And I was like, well, I've been doing this shit 30 years, man. And so there are things that I did on Clerks that I didn't even think about. That was just something we had to accomplish to get to the end of the day that wound up over time being iconic. So you never know what it's going to be. And I feel like it's the best course of action to approach everything as if this is the moment they'll be talking about 30 years from now. So make it iconic. And they were like, I really wish you didn't that's a lot of pressure. And I was like, I don't think so. Maybe it sounds like it from your vantage point, from the guy who's been accidentally making it iconic for 30 years. It's just know that what you're doing now, you think it's like, we got to shoot this and then we got 3 other things to shoot. But this moment's going to live on in people's memory. This moment is going to wind up being, for some, the buoy that they cling to in a stormy sea, man, when they're afraid of drowning psychologically, mentally in their lives or something like that. The thing that's going to make their heart soar, that makes them revisit that movie and bring people to that movie as if it's their discovery. It's moments like that that you don't think about, because you're just like, well, we got to do these 3 scenes before we get to the scene I can't wait to. And ironically, those 3 scenes are just as important as the scene you can't wait to get to.
Logan, let me ask you, because I just did this bit with Francis Ford Coppola the other day, and I asked him
Lucky.
about.
Look at you name dropping, Lucky.
Well, I told him the next person on my list is Kevin Smith, and he said Lucky. And I asked him about Moment You Can't Refuse, and he said, I have no memory of when Brando said that. He goes, that really wasn't a big deal that day. Like, is that like? How long? I mean, you never know. How long does iconic take to iconic?
I'll give you a case scenario. We make Clerks and it's playing the festival circuit and whatnot, and then people writing wonderful things about it. And I have a career where we're talking today thanks to Clerks and whatnot. But the scene that people predominantly told me the most about in real life, the moment they come to like, oh, they were like, you made Clerks? Like, yeah. Oh, I love it when Jay and Silent Bob dance. And I was like, there's no dialogue in that scene. Like, it's a movie about dialogue, and it's just 2 dudes fucking dancing in the dark. And they're like, yeah, exactly. It's cinematic. There's something about it. There's something joyous about it. So I'm not saying it's always a dance sequence, but I've been around long enough that, like, the thing I thought least likely, like when we shot that scene of us dancing outside, I did not think anything of it. I did not think it was something that people would come up to me and talk about for 30 years. And yet it is. So you never know what it's going to be. And it's, oddly enough, never the thing you think it's going to be. The audience finds their moments, and they will embrace those, and they'll tell you what it is. They'll tell you what the cream is in your picture.
Well, this entire picture is cream, my friend. They're pulling me out of here. I'm way over my time. I love this movie, but I love you, and I truly do appreciate your kindness, man. Always. Seriously, I hope you know that I mean that.
Likewise. Means the world, Jake. Thank you. Love you too.
All right, brother. Talk to you soon, man. All right. Sounds good.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.